Stephanie, you good? Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. At 10:02, we'll call things to order for our Tuesday, June 14th Board of Commissioners meeting. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. At this time, we'll accept any public comment for items not appearing on our agenda. I believe we're seeing no public for comment today. We will, if anybody joins us, accept public comment for each item as it's under consideration. Any additions to our agenda today? I think we're all good, right?
I'm aware.
Okay, we're all good. We'll look for a motion to approve our minutes from the Tuesday, June 7th meeting. Also, some work sessions listed on the agenda there today.
I will make the motion.
Okay, and I will second it. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes for the Board of Commissioners meeting and work sessions. Any final discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is carried. Okay. All right, so we have our ordinance, the second ordinance of 2022, and we have many guests with us today. And Joni, are you going to join us up here as well? Yeah, please, if you wouldn't mind, please, yes. But we're also, so Joni is going to join us. We also have Jen Karen, Eckert Siemens with us, so please, Jen, if you'd like to join us. On the video, we have Dan Kozloff and Garrett Moore with us, and so this is the borrowing for the renovations of Centercrest, a little bit of the courthouse and the Willow Bank as well. And so many, many months have gone into this work, and so it leads us here today to discuss where we're at and talk about the next steps in the process. So we'll turn it over at this time. No, John, if you wanted to, yeah.
I believe Jennifer Karen of Eckert Siemens is here to give a brief introduction to the ordinance and the work that's gone into it.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer Karen. I am a bond attorney with Eckert Siemens in Harrisburg. And for the last several weeks, we've been working with your financing team to prepare the ordinance that's before you, which is Ordinance Number 2 of 2022. And I'll just briefly highlight some of the main provisions within the ordinance. First of all, it authorizes the undertaking of the capital project that's described in the ordinance, which is with respect to the former Centercrest facility and other county facilities. It also authorizes the refunding project, which consists of the refunding of the county's outstanding 2018 bank loan. The ordinance also authorizes the incurrence of what's known as general obligation debt under the Local Government Unit Debt Act, and to issue bonds in the maximum principal amount of $40 million to fund the capital project, the refunding project, as well as the cost of issuing the bonds. The ordinance provides for the acceptance of the bond purchase agreement, which is the contract between the county and Janney Montgomery Scott LLC, who was selected to serve as the underwriter for the bond issuance. The bond purchase agreement will be supplemented by what we refer to as an addendum to the bond purchase agreement, and that addendum is completed upon the final pricing of the bonds, which is currently targeted to occur on June 22nd. We call this a parameters debt ordinance because the addendum to the bond purchase agreement must satisfy the criteria or the, quote, parameters that are set forth in the ordinance and in the bond purchase agreement, which means that the bonds must ultimately be priced within the parameters set forth, including the maximum principal maturities as well as the maximum interest rates on the bonds, and that is contained within Exhibit A to the ordinance before you. The ordinance also appoints TD Bank to serve as the paying agent for your bond issue. The ordinance sets forth the requirements of the Debt Act, whereby the county pledges its full faith, credit, and taxing power for the repayment of the bonds, and covenants to budget, appropriate, and pay debt service on the bonds. The ordinance also provides for the appropriate filing to be made with the Department of Community and Economic Development, and for the legal notices to be published in accordance with the Debt Act. It also authorizes the preliminary official statement and the final official statement, which are the offering documents, and they're used in connection with the marketing of the county's bonds to potential investors. And finally, it permits the authorized officers of the county to take all necessary and further action to effectuate the issuance of the bonds, and the settlement of the bonds is currently scheduled for July. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, and I would kindly request that a roll call vote be taken with respect to the bonds. with respect to the ordinance, not the bonds, the ordinance.
Roll call's pretty short today.
I see that. Yeah, it'll be fast.
We can certainly do that. Okay, thank you so much, Jen.
You're welcome.
I think one of the important things that we want to highlight, and I think it's, Joni, if you would be willing to touch on this, is our rating. We had a rating recently, and maybe just talk briefly about what that process looked like, but also what the outcome of it was. So, yeah.
So we had a questionnaire that we had to, as a county, as the admin team, needed to fill out a questionnaire regarding some of the county's history. We touched on COVID. It touched on some of our performance measures. It talked about the stability of the county and how our financing team manages budgets and revenues and expenses going forward. And we teamed up with Eckert and PFM, the county administrator, as well to go ahead and go through that questionnaire, as well as Betsy's help as well. So we went through that process, and then we had an S&P call where we were all on the phone call as well, being asked those certain questions. And then about a week later, they came back and rated us a AA, which is a very good rating. We were currently a AA, and that shows that the county is in a very stable environment currently and going forward. We're forecasted to keep that rating. We can actually increase that rating as well to a AAA, but we are very happy with that AA standard.
Thank you, Joni. Important news, and that really does set us up for a good, advertisement when we try to sell these. So this is good.
Absolutely.
From our team at PFM, Dan, Garrett, we'd love to hear your perspective on this. If there's anything else that you'd like to bring to our attention about the process or the way forward before we look for any motion to approve this ordinance.
Sure. Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning, everybody. Just to touch on a few things that both Jen and Joni touched on. First, the rating. It's a pretty, I'll say, standardized process that issuers like yourselves go through with the rating agencies. The staff, John, Joni, and Jason and others did a terrific job through that, and we were very pleased to receive the rating that we received, being a AA rating. It's the second highest category that S&P rates, and unchanged from what the county was previously. Also receiving the qualifier of stable on that means that S&P does not anticipate a change based on what they know of the county financial and credit standing in the next 6 months. So that's a good place to be. It's certainly a testament to the county's management practices, approach to budgeting, financial standing, and the like. And the market will react positively to that. The market likes seeing stability and strong ratings, and certainly that's something that we're not seeing in general in the market these days, being stability. Yesterday being in one of the most volatile days in the markets in terms of fixed income and treasuries and rates that I've seen in my 23-year career. But that being said, having an issuer that is stable, that does have strong ratings will help. So the ratings was good, and it was a very good and streamlined process. So thanks to all for that. In terms of the parameters piece, you all heard the number of $40 million. Just to be clear, that is not the amount that is intended to be issued here. There's, as Jen pointed out, there's a process that needs to be taken through the Commonwealth's Department of Community and Economic Development, DCD, related to local government issuance laws. It's called the Local Government Unit Debt Act, or you'll hear it referred to as LGUDA. In setting up parameters a parameters resolution here, we need to say it sets parameters. It sets the maximum amount that you can issue. It sets maximum coupon levels, et cetera. It not just sets that maximum amount in aggregate, but we need to look at it on a maturity by maturity basis. We're going to amortize this debt year by year, and in each year we need to set a maximum amount. We don't know exactly how the bonds will price today. We're pricing a week from tomorrow. So to allow us the flexibility to structure the ultimate debt service costs on those bonds for the county in a way, on an annual basis, in a way that targets what the county would like to achieve, we need to create flexibility and cushion in the principal amount or maturity amount that's due in each year. In order to do that, we set it at a level that's higher than what we ultimately wind up with, so that some might be higher, some might be lower, some might be exactly where we thought it would be. And when you aggregate all of that up, you wind up with an issuance amount that's greater than what the intended amount would be. That's that $40 million. So just to be clear, don't want that $40 million to catch anybody off guard. That is not the amount that we will ultimately issue, but it's the amount when we file and when Eckert files this parameters with DCED, provides us with the appropriate amount of flexibility and cushion to structure the transaction in the way that the county would like to, which are, all the iterations we went through previous to this meeting, to get the desired debt service structure.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Happy to answer any questions.
Sounds good. And we also are, as it was stated before, in addition to the $30 million specifically for renovation and capital projects, we also have the Kish Bank loan, which is a little bit over $6 million. That's also looking to be refinanced potentially. First question would be from us would be, as the market has changed, like you said, Dan, it's being a bit volatile. The Kish Bank loan has a specific interest rate that if the bonds pricing would go over that, we wouldn't refinance. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and Gary, you can speak to what the numbers look like there, but I think that is, fair to say. We would seek to refinance that in a position to receive savings for the county, just like you would refinance your mortgage, to receive savings net of transaction costs as well.
Thank you.
Nope, I'm well versed.
Okay, yeah. Okay, any other questions we had? Anything we wanted to, we're good? Okay. All right. Any questions from our guests today? Gary, any questions? Okay. All right. Okay, sure. All right, at this time, we'll look for a motion to approve Ordinance Number 2 of 2022.
Motion to approve ordinance number 2.
Roll call.
2022.
I will second that, and we'll turn it over, now that it's been moved and seconded, we'll turn it over to our Administrator, John Fronick, for a roll call. Okay.
For roll call, Chairman Pipe,
Aye.
Commissioner Dersham.
Aye.
Any opposed? No one here? Okay, motion passes 2-0.
And we should note Commissioner Higgins is not able to join us
Absent.
today, so we will mark him as absent.
Absent.
He's very much in support of it, but just unable to attend. Okay. All right, the motion is carried and passed. Okay, Jen, thank you. John, Garrett, Dan, thank you so much. Thank you, Joni. Okay, appreciate it very much.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. All right, Quentin, we'll welcome you up for our Office of Aging items. Good morning.
Okay. I got, the first thing I have on the agenda, the Office of Aging is requesting the approval of the contract for the nutrition group. The contract with the nutrition group provides services to the Office of Aging for our meal, for the Center County Meal Program. We have several different rates. Our rates for congregate meals are $6.01 per meal. In-home meals and frozen meals are at $6.14. And our shelf-stable meals are at $4.89. The period of the contract is July 1st, 2022, and then runs to June 30th, 2025.
Okay, thank you so much, Quentin. A lot of work's going into this. I know we've been really making sure that the agreement is solid and good. You're confident that it is?
Yes.
Okay, all right. All right. We'll look for a motion to approve the contract.
So moved.
I will second it. It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. The motion is carried. Okay. Then we have two other items?
Yes. So I have two other contracts in there for the same service, but different providers. So we have a contract for, the Office of Aging is requesting approval for the contract for Valued Relationships. Valued Relationships provides rentals for personal emergency response systems, and we're also now adding the pill dispensers for rental. And it's really around the idea of keeping people home and when they have challenges and barriers, the Office of Aging providing services through our options program in order to maintain them in their home. The contract is for July 1st, 2022, to run through June 30th, 2025.
We were talking about this earlier, but this is really the first time that we've done this sort of targeted with these two things included within trying to ensure folks can stay within their home. So it's great to see all the security and safety things that we're also providing for folks to make sure that as they are staying longer in their home, not going into a more costly care, that they're able to be safe and make sure that they can get keeping their medications constant, and also if something would happen, that they'd be able to get emergency services there as quickly as possible. So it's good stuff. Okay, we'll look for a motion then.
We'll make the motion to approve the contract, Valued Relationships.
Okay, and the automated.
And automatic,
Okay.
automated security.
Okay.
Alert.
All right, I will second that. Instead of doing the consent, we'll just do an approval, okay? It's been moved and seconded to approve those contracts. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is carried. Thank you, Quentin. Again, appreciate it. All right, we'll head into our MHID EI contracts, talking about the ARC and also Eagle Ridge. Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning. So first contract I have with you is with the ARC of Center County to provide services, specifically our in-home and community supports, supportive employment, respite care, also behavioral health. And this is for our upcoming fiscal year, July 1, 2022 to June 30th, 2023, the county share being $2,904. And then the second one is with Eagle Ridge Personal Care Home. This one is for a contract total of $9,674. It's from March 2022 to June 30, 2022. The original owners sold that to the new owners, Lindsay Penland, and their family took on the Eagle Ridge. So we established a relationship with the new owners, and then this contract really is just the new owners coming on board, understanding our work statement and need for the service.
Thank you, Natalie. Questions on those two?
No.
All right, we'll look for a motion.
All right, I will make the motion to add the MHID items 1 and 2 to next week's consent agenda.
All right, I will second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion, questions? Okay. Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. Thank you,
Okay,
Natalie.
thank you.
All right. Good morning, Dave. We'll talk a little bit about our MATP. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. I come and ask the board to consider the approval of the participation grant agreement with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of Human Services, Bureau of Managed Care Operations, Division of Medical Assistance Transportation. That's a mouthful. For the fiscal year 2022 and 2023. The agreement would allow the county to continue providing the transportation for the individuals covered by the Medical Assistance Transportation Program, also known as MATP. The grant total that will eventually be awarded pending our approval here at this level and sending it back would be for $830,750 for the fiscal year for MATP. And that's about $70,000 more than they approved for this year. We have not used it all yet, but we're close, and we just see the need continuing. So that they've authorized what we submitted for the budget. So.
Good. Okay. Dave, thank you so much. Any questions on this?
Just the one I always ask, which is how close to actually balancing the budget do you think this actually will come?
Well, the MA is pretty much dollar for dollar, and included in there is almost about $180,000 in administrative cost that helps cover salaries, benefits, and wages for those people that work directly with it. So we don't lose money on it.
So essentially, we're performing the work of the Medicaid program through the state and federal dollars.
Correct. And that money's front forwarded. So once we send the agreement back and they give us the dollar amount letter approval, along with that would be the first check for the first quarter. They always give us the quarterly check ahead of time. So we're working on their money usually for the first 3 quarters, and then the last quarter we do some checks and balances and make up the differences and likely changes that need made. Yeah.
Okay, great. We appreciate, Dave, also the rate increase or the increase there, the
Yes.
additional dollars. Thank you, as always.
Yes.
To go to Commissioner Gersham's point, we want to try to keep that as, level.
Absolutely.
Balanced. So thank you for continuing to ask for those additional dollars and requesting them.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, we'll look for a motion.
I would make the motion to add the MATP grant agreement to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded. Please, Gary.
Dave, for your vehicles, do you buy gas as needed basis, or do you pay a fixed price early?
We have a fixed price that we pay. It changes, it could change weekly through our service provider for the gasoline. We fill up at the card locks throughout the county and various places with the ability to fuel other places if needed for emergency. But it's a set price that changes obviously weekly with the market.
So the current situation, prices at the pump, not impacting your department too much? or-
Oh, yes, it is. And building in this budget increase is to help offset some of that, yes. Yeah, it's certainly playing a role in how we do things and how we group trips and try to make people understand that we have to consolidate trips instead of transporting one person at a time. Those days are in the past.
Has it meant any reduction in services at all?
No reduction. No, we still offer the same services. Our service is still open to the people that qualify and those who want to use it. We've not reduced any service at this point, no.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Okay. Call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is carried. Dave, thanks again.
Thank you very much.
Sure. We have in front of us our consent agenda. Is there a motion?
I will make the motion to approve the consent agenda for this week.
Okay, I will second it. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay. All right, we have today's check run in the amount of $290,771.80, and that is running through June 10th. Would there be a motion to approve that check run?
I will make the motion, but I'm just curious how it's so low.
I will second it.
That's not very, 290,000 is pretty mild.
Sure. We typically will have some of the larger moves with the money market. And in terms of things that are...
I'm not arguing.
No, yeah.
I'm just more curious.
Yeah.
Somebody's doing well over there if they're only spending that amount of money, so just make them.
Did we do a check? I think we might. No, that was for election workers. No, it's good news though. Instead of it being as high as it typically is, we do have.
Remark the fact that is
I was going to say
very
maybe it's,
mild.
Since Mark isn't here, maybe it's been.
That's right. That's right.
Maybe that's what it is. It just might be. No, certainly a coincidence.
He just left you a good check. Right?
That's right. That's right. Okay.
All right. Well, I've made the motion.
No, sure. Yeah, it's been seconded as well. All in favor, say aye.
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 Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good.
Recall that one.
No, absolutely. It's been moved and seconded, and we've approved it. Well, John, any updates that you'd like to share? Anything to report?
No administrator reports at this time.
Okay, sounds good. And we don't have a voter registration?
We do not.
Okay.
Hopefully for
All
next
right.
week, though, I'm told.
Okay, sounds good. We do want to remind folks as well, again, in 6 days, we will be closed for county government to recognize Juneteenth, but we will have a meeting on the 21st as well. Any executive sessions that we would need to report?
No executive sessions to report.
All right. Before we adjourn, Gary, anything else you'd like to?
So with today's bond action, what is the timetable now for the Center Crest building?
Sure. We have the pricing for the bond on June 22nd and settling it sometime in July. we really won't need the money until next year, 2023. However, we do potentially have some architecture costs, design costs, construction management costs that we might have to pay out. And there's a potential we may do some smaller projects around Center Crest. There's a few things that we just might want to do prior to bringing in the general contractor next year. So it gives us flexibility. But that would, again, align us going into 2023 when we bid this out, first half of the year, to be able to pay our bills once the work starts.
Is the bond issue today what was previously discussed, the amount?
It is, yes. We're still limited at $30,000. We're also looking to refinance.
30 million.
30 million, correct. Yeah, what did I say? Did I say 30?
You said 30,000, which would have been
Well,
nice,
that,
but
30 million, I'm sorry. 30,000 and,
30 million.
see, now you got me.
Man.
You know?
Jinxed it.
Okay, all right. You're not going to use any of this, are you,
I'm not
Gary?
going to ask any more questions
you
about
know-
financing.
I'm rusty on the check run. It's been a while since I've done a
All
check
right, I
run,
got
so no, it's okay. All right, $30 million, but we're also looking to refinance about $6 million of our Kish Bank loan, and so that's pushing it closer to a 40,000 cushion. I know. As soon as I said it, I don't know what it is. I just you ever see those clips of the actors who just keep flubbing their lines? Here we
That's
go.
all right.
I just can't stick the landing. Why don't you? You know what? Why don't you? No, seriously, Steve.
Well, I'm good. I think we got it.
Did we get it? I don't know if
It's in
we
the
did.
millions now.
I know. The $6 million of the Kish Bank loan is also looking to be refinanced, so that's why it pushes it closer to $40 million.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, you could use. Hopefully, you could. I know. I know. Yeah, Chris Morelli and everybody else watching, please go easy on me, okay? But no. So yes, it's still the original amount of $30 million.
There was
Sure,
a ruling
thank
last week from the Supreme Court on the Lehigh County election issue with the mail-in votes. As the States County Association, are they looking at impact down the road for November? Are you looking at?
Betsy, I think this is a question for you. This is a perfect question for you. If you'd want to. Betsy's done
We have our solicitor. today, so-
outstanding.
No sense bringing her into the room if she doesn't participate.
So what the Supreme Court did last week was refuse to act on the Third Circuit decision. So in our Third Circuit, which is the only circuit, there is a decision on this particular issue. There's been no specific guidance from the Department of State, and given that the battles for the Senate nomination on the Republican side are now over, I don't know if they will. I mean, we did report, as did all 67 counties, both those that, the extras as well as, we removed those, I think it was 61 ballots in Center County. 58 total. And so they have those reports at the state level. We don't know what they're going to do. My guess is there will be guidance that will come out. In fact, the state, after the Third Circuit decision, did issue guidance and asked people to count those. Notably, there were 7 counties in the Commonwealth that did that without even guidance, right? So there were only 60 counties that originally got sued in the action that we just dealt with. And by the way, the cases are now all dismissed. There is also a decision at the Commonwealth Court level by President Judge Renee Cohen Jubilier, which essentially required the same thing as the Third Circuit. So now whether that decision gets appealed or not, we don't know. She just filed the order on the request to voluntarily dismiss the case, but that opinion still stands. That could still be appealed, right, by other parties. So that there's still some question of what the Pennsylvania courts might do.
So is that your advice at this point? Hang on, see what the court's doing.
Yeah, I think the answer, if nothing changes, right, if nothing in the landscape changes between now and the election day, I think we have to count those ballots. I think we've got court decisions now that set us up for that. That doesn't mean that some party or another, not necessarily individual, I should say, won't challenge or won't file some kind of request for the court to look at it. Notably, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court also chose not to look at this issue. So, you've got 2 now of the higher courts saying, we're kind of going to let these decisions out here for the moment. And maybe there'll be legislation that'll change something. I kind of don't expect that at this point. What's going on in Harrisburg, they've got enough on their plates. But there are some bills floating around, as everyone knows, to adjust the mail-in ballot law pretty significantly.
Thank you. Question for you, the commissioners, would you like to see Act 77, some changes made or to better address these kind of questions? Either one.
So the CCAP Elections Reform Group met last week and discussed this very question. And the consensus from at least the Elections Reform Group is to not do a wholesale repeal of Act 77, but instead to make changes. And actually, in fact, we have a list of priorities that if in a certain sense, Act 77 was removed. Again, there's this Supreme Court case that's outstanding that has the potential to completely remove Act 77. And if that would happen, there's a list of things that the commissioners that you really want to keep in mind that we're everybody can agree on within Act 77 that improved elections, made it more secure. But of course, the questions regarding mail-in ballots, the ability for those to still remain is really the central tenet. I think we continue to improve our practices, make them better with each election. And I would say this election that we had, notwithstanding the undated ballots, really was a premier example of how to run elections in Center County and also across the Commonwealth, evidenced by the recount that was almost to the penny in terms of across the state. So with that, there are always challenges in elections, and we're hoping that we get some more clarity as we go forward. But that's certainly my perspective on it.
My perspective is actually a little bit more direct, and that is, until they get this right, they need to go back to the drawing board and fix it, because we cannot continue to have elections over and over and over and over again where the rules change. If we do not do that, the confidence in the voters and the confidence in our election system is going to be in question. So I really think Act 77 is one of the biggest challenges that it should be tackled in the near term by our elected officials, because we really do need to fix this. It is. I mean, I think we could probably all agree that the last couple of elections have been rough, and there's no reason for that. There should be direct details how these elections are supposed to be. We cannot continue to operate under court mandate and court decision. That just doesn't make sense as a society, and we really do need to take some time as a society and figure out the best way to run elections moving forward.
And you initially held on to ballots and went ahead and counted them, or did you count them right away?
Which category? For the undated ones?
Yes.
No, we segregated them, kept them separate and secure, and it was towards the end of the certification process that we did open them and read them through, but they're on a separate card, separately scanned, again segregated, so we still have them separate.
Questions I have.
Okay. Any other questions? We didn't know, any questions for us, or you were just an attendee? Okay. All right, sure. Okay. At this time, we'll look for a motion to adjourn our meeting at 10:35.
I will make that motion.
I'll second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.